Yes, a Cock 45, your internet shooting companion and your technology challenged internet companion. Coming to you from Tennessee, the beautiful hills of Tennessee, home of Alvin York. Yes, going to be over in his neighborhood later this week. And appreciate you being here because it is still green and full of ticks, and you are taking the risk. You are fearless. Yeah, so am I. Of course, I'm sprayed down a little bit. And I generally don't get them because I do that. I take precautions. I am not in love with ticks, and I don't want them in my pants and under my shirt and all that kind of thing, and my socks down in my feet, and not know about it. So I use some of the Avon lotion I talk about every day before I even get dressed, and yeah, it really kind of takes care of that. So knock on wood. Yeah, might die of Lyme's disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever this summer, but generally speaking, I don't have a big problem with them. So anyway, it's good to see you all. Yeah, and I'm still, technology challenge. I got my, I mentioned in the comments, my phone to pair with, well, here they are, with the headset after about 2-3 days of messing with it. Who knew? I shut down my phone 2 or 3 different times and went through the process of pairing manually. I mean, I've done that. Some of you mentioned that, but I've already done that a few times. Well, one morning, okay, I'm going to try one more time. Shut down my phone, brought it back up, and I had not had my phone in the car or paired with anything else, and and the headsets, either, and I don't know what I pair them with else other than my phone. And lo and behold, it worked. That's the wonders of technology. I don't know which is worse, never getting something to work or getting it to work but not knowing why it starts working. We've all been through that. I went through computers back in the early 80s, Control-Alt-Delete on the PCs. That was the fix. It generally fixed stuff, reboot them. And that helped a lot. It's helped a lot of my students over the years when I was teaching and just in general. A lot of people don't realize that. If some of you mentioned that, shut your phone down. Well, I come from a long history of knowing that sort of thing. Sometimes for whatever reason, fixes things. Just shut it down totally and start over. And it resets things. You don't even know why or what, unless you designed the system, necessarily. You don't know necessarily what's going on there. When you do reboot totally or shut something down and then turn it back on. But it does. I mean, it sounds kind of foolish and simplistic in a lot of ways, to some people probably. Those are people who didn't come of age or were not involved in the early 80s in computers, though, because that was the fix, man. And when I had the laptop program where I taught, they were all PC based and laptops and Windows based, and we'd just reboot them all the time, if there was an issue, and that would fix it quite often. So anyway, it is working. But now it occurred to me as I was getting ready, I have this little JBL speaker that you hear that wonderful song through every Sunday. And I remembered as I was about to do it, turn it on, the music, that, oh, that's right, that it wouldn't pair with my little JBL speaker last week. Maybe that was somehow related. Or maybe that caused the problem. Yeah, I didn't even think of that through all the, well, now, let's see. No, that was before last week, or else I wouldn't have told you about it, would I? But I don't know. That was either something, maybe it was something related. I don't know. But anyway, it wouldn't pair today either. So I was just playing you the phone last week and also today. And I went in to manually pair. It wasn't showing up. Figure that one out. I turned it off like that, turned it back on. It's charged, and there's just There is no like a reset, totally reset or anything to it. I'm aware of. But anyway, that's life. That's life. Technology is a double-edged sword. It's wonderful and it's also frustrating, and that's why I like the simplistic technology of an AK. It's getting a little better. One reason I brought this out, I had it out several weeks back, right? And I don't know that I noticed it in that Sunday video, did I? Tell me, did I? But I shot some more because it was already dirty. And, or after the video, whatever, the Sunday video, I noticed the bolt was kind of sticking. I've never had that happen on any AK like that, much less the Arsenal or my other Sam 7. And so I don't know what's going on with that, and kind of worried me a little bit, you know. And so I've messed with it over the last few weeks. I don't know if I've shot it again. I got it out the other day because I was going to try to install that peep sight again, the Krebs custom peep sight. I got a tool that's supposed to help with that. Got the sight. I got the good stand to lock it into again. Did that just yesterday or day before. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I should be able to replace that. I got this little tool. No, no, I would need a sledgehammer or something. Yeah, forget it. It's just going to have this sight. So, you know, anybody need a Krebs peep sight for free? So, anyway, yeah, so it's going to have that sight. And the bolt, if you had an AK like this is the first one I've had that is like this. I think it's just new, or it's, well, duh, I've had a lot of newer or new AKs, but this one, I think the tolerances, my guess, are just kind of tight on it. Although I don't remember it doing that the first, I don't know, magazine I shot or when I first got it. So that doesn't make sense, does it? It's sort of an issue that started happening after I shot it a few times, a magazine or two maybe, I don't know. But it's a little better now than it was. Let me get this up here close, you AK experts. Okay, so this is a little bit new to me. I don't know whether to be worried about it or not. Okay, obviously it goes into battery fine. It shoots, you know, it functions just fine and all that. Now when I bring it together, bring the bolt closed slowly, here's what happens. See if you can see it maybe. Now I'll just let it really slow. See, it doesn't even go fully into battery. Yeah. See, I've never had one that way. I think it has gotten better. I was messing with it the last day or two. I had it out after I gave up on the sights and just doing this a lot. My wife was trying to reach me or talk to me out in the shed about lunch being ready or something. Could get my attention. I was out there, had it on the work table. Just, ouch. Yeah, I hurt that the other day too. You know, just grabbing that and, ouch. Not much to grab a hold of there. You got to get a hold of just right or you end up hurting your. Yeah, I wasn't able to do it with my little finger a few days ago. And so I've just been doing that. So I think it's just breaking in. Okay. I will give it the benefit of the doubt for now, that they have the tolerances so tight that it literally, now it's function fine, I don't have any problems with it, but yeah, some firearms do that. Not my other arsenals or AKs, but some firearms, they, what would you call it, they overbuild them, or the parts are a little bit oversized and designed that way so that as you start working them, they work themselves down to the perfect size rather than start out undersized, you know, because they're not going to swell, right? But so that's one reason I wanted to bring it out and shoot it, and because nothing should break it in like firing it, right? That bolt slamming fast, because when you fire it, that bolt doesn't come forward slowly. That's for sure. So Arsenals are great AKs. I've said many times, if you're new, that I've gotten so many comments over the years, maybe not as many recently, maybe people are just more knowledgeable about AKs or something, but you used to get a lot of questions about what's the best AK for the money and all this kind of thing, and I would just, I don't know as much about them as a lot of other people do, and I just knew I wanted a nice one because I enjoy them. And so I went ahead and took the easy route and bought an Arsenal a long time ago. What was that, been 10 years or more? Bought the SGL 20. And because it's pretty universally agreed upon that the Arsenal is one of the best AKs out there. And, but they all work really well. And I knew I wouldn't be making a mistake, and okay, just to avoid the fray. I had a Wasser, that seemed to work okay for a while. But or I had it for a while, and it seemed to work okay. It didn't seem to work. It didn't just work for a while. Didn't mean it that way. You've got to get your modifiers in the right place, right? But yeah, they all tend to work. Yeah, they really do. It's just when you really like a certain platform, and this is something I don't intend to talk about 90% of what I talk about, I guess. But one thing you'll notice if you're just getting into firearms and collecting and shooting is that you will encounter firearms that, wow, I really like these double action revolvers, or AK or an AR, whatever it might be, or a lever gun, and maybe you have a inexpensive one, or you have a friend who has one and you've tried it out and you just fall in love. Man, you're a lever gun person, or you're a single action person. You just know it, you love it. You study some more history on it, and that's one area where you want to get a really nice one. Your favorite area of firearms, or one of your favorite areas. You don't mind spending a little more and getting the best, or one of the best in that particular genre, that area. You'll notice that. If you can't afford it, you'll have that on your bucket list at some point. So anyway, nice AK. Does that mean anything to you? Does anything mean anything that I say? Not a lot. Looks better with a magazine in it, doesn't it? Even though there's not one in the chamber. Plus I'm more ready. Okay. So I'm glad you're here, and I got a couple things maybe I'll talk about. I got another gun to shoot that has not been fired. I have a lot of those lately. It seems like a firearm that you're seeing it fired for the first time. And I'm gonna fire some ammo that I got. Okay. And then of course Alabama holster, got one in my pocket, and I keep one handy. Great company, make little Kydex holsters for concealment purposes, belt, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, pocket, purse, and gosh, otherwise. And I really like their purse holsters. I've got a pink one. I keep it in my purple purse all the time. And you think I'm kidding, don't you? Well, you never know about me. Ballistol, Talon grips. Use all this stuff almost every day. Okay, got another gun. Like I said, I just picked it up today, about 2 hours ago. Okay, Taylor's company. This is the Nolan will donate to a worthy cause from Taylor's. And probably not one I would buy myself personally. You know me, I'm a 45 Colt snob when it comes to firearms like this. And this one's not in 45 Colt. So some of you are thinking, well, Hickok, there's nothing wrong with 4440, you big snob. There's nothing wrong with 3840, or even maybe 38 special. Nothing wrong with that. So what caliber is it? Well, this one is chambered in Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp's, and Billy the Kid's favorite cartridge in one of these guns. Guess what? Tormenting you, huh? 9mm. For real, 9mm. So anyway, 9mm, I'm going to fire it for the first time. There should be some massive recoil with this thing, because it's the 1875 Remington clone, And those of you who know these guns, you know the Remington grip, they're pretty distinctive, and then this web under the barrel. I think they suspended with that web under there, and what was it, 1889 or 90 model, somewhere in the later part of the 1800s. They quit doing that, and it looked more like a Colt, except for the grip, and for whatever reason. But some people prefer the Remington. Not me. One of the things that hurts the Remington, see, I read doing some of my research for video way back, one of the reasons it didn't catch on as much, of course, Colt had the history, well, Remington had a history too, but what was it? I think the 1875 came out, what was it, chambered in, wouldn't have been 4440, because that didn't come out till 77 or 78, did it, in the Colts? And that's what I seem to remember, though. But I don't know. But for whatever reason, it didn't become as popular, okay? And it certainly never came out in 9mm back in the 1870s. Let's see if it'll shoot a 9mm. Now, it'd be easy to make fun of this, and when we do the video, I'll try not to be too bad, okay? I was telling the guys at the gun shop, and it is guys work there, a bunch of them, Clarksville Guns and Archery, when I picked it up. I don't know, they may have some females in the back office. I don't know, it just says in terms of out and around and sales staff, that I shouldn't make as much fun of it as I did. Because of the 9mm. Yeah, I was joking about John Wayne's favorite caliber or whatever. Because when you think about it, a lot of people, and it's loaded, nothing under the hammer, a lot of people, I hope a lot of you who do not have a single action, a historical clone of a Colt or a Remington or whatever, a real one or whatever you have, I hope most of you either have one of some sort or you're thinking about it. It's on your to-do list, even if it's 10 years out. You just need a single action. If you're going to be a real, if you got any cowboy in you, got to have a single action, right? So, a lot of people love these. They're just as popular as ever, really, aren't they? And, but 45 Colt ammo, if you don't hand load, that stuff is pricey, right? 4440, same thing. I mean, you've probably seen some in a gun shop the last week or two, you know, $70 for a box or something. You know, it can be anywhere from what, $50 to $80 for a box of 45 Colt. Expensive stuff. And maybe a little bit less, 40, 45, I don't know, but it's just expensive. You're talking $1 a shot plus, maybe up to two bucks a shot almost, with tax and everything. So maybe it's not so odd to have one, you know, chambered in 9mm. You know, my buddy, the Ruger Vaquero video you've seen probably, the convertible, it has he lent me his, it's a Ruger Vaquero, it's a new model, and he has that thing chambered in, what, 357 Magnum, and then a cylinder for 9mm for that, and it is a pretty versatile firearm, you know. And so anyway, with the price and availability of 9mm, you know, this might be more attractive and desirable to a lot of people than, you know, than we first think, okay? So just trying to be fair about it, you know, just get over my snobbery. All right, ooh, look how accurate it is. 2 bullseyes. Check out the massive recoil now. Watch how much it jumps. Well, it jumps a little bit, but it doesn't jump much. Yeah. Let's see if it'll reach out, if I can reach out with it. Well, I'll try it again. Any firearm will reach out. Okay. It's a matter of whether or not you can hit something with it. I'll load him up again. So it's the Remington style 9mm, and it's the old action. You know, you cock it and push them out with the ejector rod. There's no need for a clip. It would be difficult on a single action. You just put them in there in the head space on the chamber mouth, and there you go. 9mm. Seem like they fit. All the tolerances seem fine. Yep, plenty of space, nothing dragging. All right, we gotta be able to put one on the gong, right? All right, I held that one down in the dirt. Let's do that again. I don't know, are you hearing it? I thought I heard that one that I held low on. We may try it again. So 9mm in a Western style single action, Taylor's and Company. Yeah, I'll shoot some more. Again, when I bring these out like this, or I've never fired them, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. It's a little treat for you all, because that way you get to see me fumble with it, or if it doesn't work at all, you get to be the first to know. If I can't hit anything with it, you're the first to know. And then when we post a video on it, you know, maybe, you know, you can see that I've learned where to hold the sight. Let me bring it up a little. I don't know, I'm experimenting on the gong. All right, gotta hold lower, I think. Well, let's try something closer here. Like that plate down there by the tree. Ah. Okay, that's a fun part of shooting, figuring out where a gun. Now, that went low, unless I wasn't holding right. Another little tip for you, when you're doing what I'm doing, messing around, trying to figure out where to hold and sighting in, kind of sighting in, at least for Kentucky windage, because these sights are not adjustable, figure out where to hold. What's very important, you tell me. Well, very important that you get a good trigger pull, or else you're not getting valid feedback. If I take a couple of shots and both of them print high, well, that should tell me something. If I know where I was holding and I got a good trigger break, I know that I got a good trigger break, all right? But now, you know, if I was flinching and bad trigger break and all that, that's different. Let me try this again on one right here. Now, that seemed to be right on. All right. That seemed to be right on. Okay. That's it. First shot I took down on the plate by the tree. I think that guy's had several hits on already. Maybe that's a problem. I thought that one down at 5 o'clock was where I hit. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Well, okay. Now you can't necessarily extrapolate what it's going to do at 80 yards from when you're shooting here close, but if you get a good hold and it seems to be shooting right on, then you know, you kind of know it's not going extremely high or extremely low on you, so you should be able to get one in there. I'm going to hold a little bit lower. Maybe I'll see it in the dirt. work with it a little bit. Not that it's designed to shoot at 80 yards, but who knows. So anyway, yep, that is the, I think they call it the Lawman, I don't know, but it's a remake of a Remington in 9mm. Seems to work smoothly, feels good. This is kind of what I was telling you about last week or week before too, though. This is a heavy chunk. Why? Because it has just a 9mm bore in it, 38, 37 caliber, whatever, 36. And so you get more steel. And so you're not gonna have much recoil with this thing, right? What would be ideal, I guess, really, something at 50 yards, you know, work my way up, right? So, what do you know? Well, you know, I've been out of town. I've been up to Kentucky, to Friendship, to the Black Powder Nationals. And again, as I always say, I'm never going on the second weekend, but I ended up doing that, visiting with family up there, and there wasn't much going on over there except at the flea markets. And so if you're going to Friendship to the National Muzzleloading Shoot, you really want to go the first Saturday and Sunday, I guess, too. But the first Saturday is by far the time to go, okay, because it runs through 2 weekends. But a lot of people just don't even set up on the second weekend. Yeah. What about that submersible thing? Isn't that crazy and sad? What the craziest thing was were a lot of the attitudes and comments about that. You know, that made the news, didn't it? All the sick people showing an extreme lack of empathy for those folks that died under there, those explorers, and I'm not surprised. That's what social media kind of is for. That's the platform where trolls and weird folks flourish. We all know that. Twitter and all that is a kind of a cesspool. A lot of it is. A lot of it's not. But it's just a reminder of how, it's a reminder about human nature, isn't it? Here these people are, and you know, to me, I guess a lot of the reason some people were making fun of them and all that kind of thing, what they were doing, it was because they were wealthy enough to afford to pay, what was it, $250,000 to explore and see the Titanic. So a lot of it's just based on envy. Yeah, envy. I've talked about that a lot, you know, how I am so glad I have not fallen victim to that, you know. Again, like probably most of you see somebody, I don't know, they're driving, they got 3 Rolls Royces in their parking, their garage or in their front yard, you know. Most of you would say, great, man, it's great that whatever you've done led you to that point in your life where you can have 3 Rolls Royces, you know. I do have a little envy. I'd like to have one of them. That'd be cool, but I don't begrudge you. You know, that kind of, most of us that are mature will have that attitude. Like those people, you know, I before that even happened, I read something about that, and it's kind of cool. $250,000. I don't think I'd, well, hell, you can't say that. If you had worth $40 million, then you might do it if you're not claustrophobic. But it seemed like a lot to go down and see the Titanic. And it would seem like a lot to most people, right? But apparently it's not a lot to the people who did it, or maybe it was to some of them, and they stretched to do that. It was really, really important to them. And they were daring enough and not afraid to do it. Wow. And then for people to make light of their death and, you know, just sad. It's a sad commentary, of course, on at least one sliver of society, and we do have to remember that, don't we? It is just a sliver of people, and that sliver of people gets amplified, you know, on social media. So you have to remember that. But it is still sad that people exist, people out there like that exist. You know, mostly in their mom's basement, you know, and where the biggest adventure they've taken is going upstairs and raiding the cupboard or the pantry for the potato chips that their mother bought, you know, or whatever. You know, that's their big adventure. And most of them will probably never amount to much, and that will not be an issue for them. They'll never be spending $250,000 or $100 to take an adventure, because the very fact that they have that attitude tells me they are probably not somebody who's going to be very successful in life, financially or otherwise. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. I hate to be so mean. That's terrible, isn't it? But it just, it's so pathetic. So pathetic. You know, I think people, part of the problem with that social media, that outrage or that commentary, and there are people that maybe down deep don't suffer from as much a lack of character as I'm talking about, perhaps, but they get a dopamine hit, you know, just by throwing out some crazy contrarian opinion about something. They just need that. They need to be relevant. You know, and they don't really know of any intelligent way to be relevant. They've not had an original thought, you know, in the last 10 years, but they can see the news and something tragedy happens. It doesn't take too much of a leap or too many brain cells to think of something that I know people will react negatively to. I'll just say, they deserved it, or yeah, that's what they get for spending so much money and doing that, or this thing was operated by a joystick, or whatever it was. You know, I'll say something that'll really set people off. I'll get a rush out of doing that. You know, that's part of it. You know, that's why it's so hard to take anything on social media too seriously, right? Sure is. So anyway, let me shoot the AK some more. The reason I brought it out here is to loosen it up. I'll keep you posted on it. That felt pretty good. I mean, there were, after the last time I had it out, I almost could not get the bolt started. Okay, 2 liter. Let's see how it is on long range accuracy. I'm gonna put one in the Alabama holster state. Not too bad. You notice the cowboy's missing. I forget to bring him back over here. I came over here and stole him. I kidnapped him for the Colt Signal Action 150th anniversary video. So I'd have 2 cowboys on the main range, and I just haven't brought him back. Can't shoot him with this anyway. We'll hit you with this, Mr. Gong. Yeah. Bowling pin. Yeah. While I had this out. Yeah. Loosen up that bolt. While I had it out, I was going to paint the front sight, and I'll be darned. I guess I left all my paint out in the shed all winter. I love those little Birchwood Casey ink or paint pens, sight pens or whatever. They're about that long, and you shake them up, and I've been using those for several years now. And to the point where I ordered a couple more packs of them. I've hadn't opened yet. Well, my one I've been using, I couldn't get it to work, so I had to open a new one, I guess. I get the white out, you know, and I could not get any paint to come out of it. And I opened up the other new one, same thing. So I think we had really extreme cold spell this past winter, and I guess it just got some things that don't normally get gotten or bothered. I don't know. So, and paint can be susceptible to really cold weather, I've noticed. And it's weird, but it depends on the type of paint and the color to some extent. I noticed with our spray paint, the black paint seems to do fine. It weathers the storms and the weathers and the variations in temperature, no matter where it is. But if it's outside all winter or something, it typically does fine. But the red paint, I noticed over the years, and other colors, but we use more red and black than anything. The red paint gets weird, yeah, and will just quit working. Yeah, I mean, a lot. I mean, it's really an accomplishment if you get a red can of paint, and this is good stuff, like Rust-Oleum, and we use apple red, and it's kind of rare to get everything out of a can of that red paint. Yeah, we don't use as much red, and so it will end up being used a little bit here and there, and that's not that good. With the black paint, we use more of that, and so you're often spraying half a can of it or even a whole can of it, painting all the targets or something. So that makes it a little different, where you're just kind of touching up with the red, fewer targets, and but it doesn't do as well in the cold weather at all. Try not to leave it out. So no charge for that information about paint. So how we doing, AK? Okay. I have to shoot some more here, whether I do it while you're here or not. Yeah. What else? Young people, any people, just a little short piece of advice. Take advantage of having your family around and alive, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, whoever is still living. Visit them, chat with them, be nice to them if possible while they're here. Life is short, and they won't be here. I mean, chances are, now you might go before they do, killed in a car wreck or get cancer or some weird thing, but if you're younger than they are, the odds are that you'll last longer, right? So I advise you to go visit them when you can, so that the only place to visit them is not the cemetery. Yeah, I visited the cemetery on Father's Day, in fact. That was the only place to go. Well, you don't really see your father, but that's where he's buried. And it occurred to me at that time, a lot of people that have not lost parents, maybe not even lost grandparents if you're young, you just have trouble seeing into the future. That just doesn't seem real to you, maybe fully, until you start losing people in your family. But just keep that in mind, because 95% of you, whatever the percent would be, you will at some point here, this year, next year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, down the road, you will be walking to a cemetery and visiting the grave of the people that you are chatting with now, that you see at Thanksgiving or every weekend or whatever, or every day, right? Just keep that in mind. I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. And the things that you would like to talk with them about or ask them, do it now. Do it now. It'll be a time when you can't do it. You can't do it. There are things, when I was up in Kentucky, visited some relatives, my brother and a cousin I hadn't seen in a long time, and I learned some things from her. There's just nobody to ask about a lot of things. I didn't even realize she knew some of these things. Like, my brother's gone, and my parents, grandparents, all of them are gone, and then other cousins and uncles that kept up with a lot of things about the family. And if I have a question, there's hardly anybody that can answer it. That's left. About, I don't know, where somebody lived, or something Dad did, or where he lived at this particular time, or those sorts of things. Nobody to ask. And that'll happen to you. I did find out. I got to find out more about it. My cousin, who has lived in this is Grant County for her whole life, I guess, and she was telling us at lunch where it's about different cemeteries and where the Holidays are buried, where the Holiday Cemetery is, and different things. And I said, the Holidays? Yeah. I said, so and so, half uncle, whatever, might have done the research, and that we're all related to Doc Holliday, she said. Yeah, in some way. I said, well, really? Are you serious? I said, if you find any more about that, exactly what the relation is, let me know. Let me know. So maybe that explains why I'm such a cutthroat murderer type, you think? Anyway, if I find out any more about that, I'll let you know. Sounds like a joke I made up. I mean, it's not a joke. I don't know how real it is or what the specifics are, but I'll try to find out. Let me try this thing again, okay? This is funny. It's such a hefty gun for a 9mm round. But now 9mm is more powerful, I think, than some people give it credit. I don't know, I've always thought in my life, I used to think that 9mm was like weaker than 38 Special, for example. It was just, I guess because people bash it so much, might have been why. That, 9 is just a little wimp round, it's a nothing round and all that. And I remember, I guess it was since we started doing videos, we had a, yeah, I skipped around. We had a little revolver that chambered 9mm, in one's, the J-frame, whatever. And I remember firing that thing, wow. I seem to kick more than 38 Special, maybe even plus P. 9mm is it's got some power. But now with the firearm this heavy, you're not going to feel it. Okay, I'm going to take a couple more shots at the gong just to so y'all can enjoy my missing. I'm going to hold so far down in the dirt that I might shoot my toe. When I have trouble with something over and over, like many of you, I eventually get out the big hammer. I do something a little more extreme, something much more different. Okay, if I'm not getting results, I change plans. Okay, let's get out the sledge, or if I am shooting over, let's find out. I'm going to shoot at the bottle here. I am going to hold about 10 yards in front of it. Now maybe it'll pick up a little dust and I can see where it goes. I'm going to shoot right in, I'm going to hold right in that sunny spot closest to it. I didn't see anything. Now I'm going to move up a little bit. It can't be that far off. Alright, a little closer. Got him. Okay. I was probably aiming 3 feet. I'd say about 3 feet. Now when I say 3 feet, I don't mean 3 feet down. But if you laid a yardstick out in front of the gong on the ground, yeah, something like that. And I think that's what I was doing. I think I did hit it once before, and that's kind of where I think I was holding. So, okay, I think maybe I figured out. I don't know why there's not more dust. There's not, the best time to shoot is like this, when it's dry. When you can, if it gets really dry, you can see every bullet where it hits. You can walk them up to a target, walk them away from a target, or whatever. Okay, so that gives me a little confidence there. Okay, so anything else you were dying to know about? I guess I didn't have any other thing written down that was something you were dying to know about. I don't think I've talked about this TV show on what's it on, Paramount? I don't know. Some of you might like it. I wasn't sure. Maybe I've mentioned it. It's called Joe Pickett, and it's on Paramount. Amazon, Paramount is. But last year, I guess, when the first season came out, I don't know if my wife mentioned it or if I just ran across it, and I watched an episode too, and it's one of those shows where I kept thinking, okay, is this good? Is this something I want to stay with? You ever done that with a series, some cable series or something? yeah, maybe it's different enough. I stuck with it because he's a game warden. He carries a Model 66 revolver, and he's a little different. And and so I stuck with it. A little hokey in some ways, but different. He's an interesting character. There's a little, I don't know about not wokeism, but just a little different. I had to ask myself a couple of times, okay, is this any good? Am I just being misled here to think this might end up being a decent series? But I think it's gotten better. And this season, the second season, I guess, it's what, 5 episodes in or something like that. It may have gotten even better, you know, a little soap opera-ish at times, but pretty good show. You might find it interesting in a world where there is so little TV and movies that I'll talk about guys especially, that really appeals to us guys that are sort of outdoorsmen or enjoy firearms. You know what I'm saying? Okay, not to exclude you ladies, but there's just not, kind of like going to a craft fair or a flea market with your wife or girlfriend or something. You know, out of the 50 booths there's 2 or 3 that you sort of enjoy maybe. Well, again, in a world where there's just such a dearth of good guy stuff, movies being made and series, you know, the bar is not very high. You know, that's to be honest, is it? So something that comes close to being interesting, you know, you find yourself watching. I'm a kind of the way with Westerns. I love Westerns, always have, and I'm more forgiving. You're probably the same way. I'm more forgiving of a Western than I would be of some other show, some movie. I mean, sometimes I catch myself. Of course, I'm working while I'm doing it most often, you know, or something. But I'll have a Western on, Western's Channel or something, and some old Western. It's even an really early John Wayne Western. I've seen it before many times or whatever, or some other series from back in the day. And it's not exactly an intellectual endeavor, you know, a little bit goofy maybe at times, and I'll catch myself with something like that on, or even watching it for a while. I think, okay, is my IQ down to 60 or something if I'm watching this? Or is this reducing my IQ down to 60 because I'm watching this, you know? So, but again, there's just so little like that out there that you catch yourself, you know, engaged in some things like that sometimes. And it's not necessarily because it has some really intricate plot line, but a lot of us guys, we just enjoy the Westerns because they're usually set, are you ready for this news flash? They're usually set in the West, and that's kind of interesting terrain, isn't it? They're riding horses. They're packing big old guns, 45s, and lever actions, and they're hanging out in the saloon, and they're getting into gunfights, and the simplicity of the technology. There's several things that are just appealing right from the get-go, right? So, and now if you take a Western, and it has actually a really interesting plot line, and some really good acting, then it just, wow, zooms through the roof, doesn't it, in quality for us. But a lot of them don't. But you know, it's a compromise. Anyway, the Joe Pickett's not a bad series. Real interesting characters in this season, I tell you. And I thought I had figured out who the bad guy was, who the murderer was, and all that, but I don't think I have, and I didn't. And so, you know, it's pretty well written. So I've yacked enough, I guess, and complained about technology. I don't lose a lot of sleep over technology. I don't lose a lot of sleep over anything, really, unless I drink a cup of coffee too late in the day. And I just roll with the punches and take the best of life. Still must just stick a little bit. Should I worry about that? I dump the valve stall in there, and I'll do that again. When I get back, I'll look at some more. Maybe I need to put some valve grinding compound in there. But works fine, shoots fine, so it'll loosen up, I'm sure. These are nice rifles, no doubt about it. And evil black rifle, of course, right? But yeah, I'm recording. It'd be funny if I wasn't. No, but very nice, very nice. I know what we need to do. I think I have it on the to-do list, and that is the video, the last AK I would ever sell, right? We've not done that yet. I think I have, was it 5 AKs? Like everybody should, right? I believe it's 5. Yeah. So it'd be an interesting selection process. I have to think about that a little bit, because I do have some variety. Yeah, I got one that's got the fun switch on it, right? And a couple other really nice Chinese AKs, and a couple of arsenals. Might be a tough choice. Might be a really tough choice. But yeah, we need to do that. Give me an excuse to shoot them all again, too. So, anyway, I will let you go. That's enough yakking, and I really appreciate you coming around for all the videos. And you know, it is so funny how YouTube works and Google. I just see a constant stream of people, you know, oh, I didn't know you're still doing videos, or did I get unsubscribed, or whatever. And we all know that. As I always say, go to the home channel like I do, somebody I'm kind of following, and I'll just see what they've done recently and go through them. But, or what I've missed, and I don't wait for them to be recommended, or else I never see them. But it's funny how some videos do get recommended, and they may be very old, and they come around again. Right now, when I skim through like comments, I see let's see, the video on the Carcano, the one that, you know, killed Kennedy, wouldn't like it. For some reason, that video, and it was not, I didn't do a very good job on that. I really overreacted in that one. But that one, I mean, it's like we just posted it. It's weird how a video will just come back like that. And I don't know why. I don't know. Has there been some new articles on the Kennedy assassination or something? And then the one where Tucker was here, Tucker Carlson, that we did the little funny one about the shoulder thingy that goes up, you know, and all that, with Tucker on the range. I mean, it's like we just posted it. I mean, it's just a barrage of activity and comments all of a sudden. That's 2 years old, you know. It's just, well, there's another one I've been noticing. Those two, and one other one. Oh yeah, one of the barrel shoots with an MP40. It's like we just posted it, and everybody's finding it. So I don't know what that's all about. And you probably noticed that too if you do videos on your channel, and we've noticed that all through the years, that the video will just return. You know, somebody, I don't know, it could be a movie comes out or whatever it is, and they're searching for a specific type of firearm, and it just starts popping up. But it's interesting the way YouTube works, the algorithm, or the way they don't work most of the time, but how videos just come and go, how not to shoot a revolver, you know, never die. I mean, none of them ever die. They're, as our rep tells us, you know, we do evergreen stuff because we do different firearms and review firearms, and hardly anything is that timely, which we all know. If I'm thinking about buying a Glock 30 tomorrow, and I search Glock 30, well, you can probably find our video on the Glock 30, you know. Yeah, and of course the downside of that is if I have a dumb video out there where I said something stupid or wrong, it never dies either. And so, you know, people discover it, and so who is this idiot, you know? Well, it's a video that's 12 years old. Oh yeah, I was an idiot, and I'm probably still an idiot. You really pay, and that's advice. If you decide, if you don't do videos, and of course, who doesn't? Everybody makes videos, don't they, of some sort. But it's going to be out there unless you take it down. So think before you speak. think before you post, try to get things right, and we do. But you know, when you got, well, I don't know, what is it, 2,500, 3,000 videos, you're going to have a few where you misspoke. Euphemism for lied. Well, not lie maybe, but a euphemism for I was too dumb to know the truth and I said something that wasn't correct. It's going to be out there, you know, for forever maybe. And now we've done. I've got a couple. We did one video. You know, Hickok 45 was wrong, I think's the title, and then the subject following what it was about or something like that. I've got a couple more of those I need to do. Of course, people don't see that, but yeah, anyway, I need to do that. If I say something really misspeak, I need to do one of those videos. Hickok 45 was wrong. The arsenal is not made in Mexico, you know, or whatever it was I said, you know, and then, you know, kind of admit my error, the error of my ways, right? So, I'm rambling. Yeah, right, it's like saying the Pope is Catholic, leaves are green. I'm rambling some more, or too much. I will let you go. Really do appreciate you guys coming out, and gals. Gosh, I run into you all the time. Ran into a fellow this morning picking up this gun. You know, talked to you for a while. You know, just really appreciate, and still a little bit of a mystery why you watch and like the videos, like some of you do. But we really do appreciate it. As you know, nothing slick. Definitely on Sunday, and even others. Nothing slick at all. Just long and boring, but that's sort of what we do when we come out to the range. And we just brought the camera out about 16 years ago and filmed some of these long, boring experiences at the shooting tables. It's kind of where it grew from, right? And I'll continue to struggle with technology and getting things paired up, right? So y'all behave yourselves, and I hope you get a chance to shoot and fondle some guns, maybe clean some guns if nothing else, and hopefully you've learned a little bit from me about how to sight one in, figure out where it's going, and you know, eventually I figure it out just through trial and error. Yeah, even a dummy can figure things out eventually if you do enough trial and error, really. So, I mean, I'm tempted, I may do this after y'all leave, load this up again and just verify that that's where I need to hold with that. But, or I'll just wait till we do the main video. I'll take a few shots on the gong on the other main range, because it's the same distance, 80 yards. And, you know, take a few shots, and I think I know where to hold now. Yep, a few feet down in front of it. So, that is a chunk. That is a heavy, heavy fire. Boy, if this thing were 7.5 inches, you know, I'd have to use both hands just to pick it up, I think. So, anyway, a lot of interesting guns around. How's this for a contrast? How's that? Yeah, the two firearms that Wider preferred. Yeah, single action and an AK. I'll see y'all later. I'm going to shut up. Life is good.